Yes, well, we can now be joined by Annabel Denham, Director of Communications at the Institute for Economic Affairs, and Simon Lancaster, founder, owner and CEO of SJL Insurance Services and the SJL Foundation. Simon, let's start with your experiences of furlough, please. You had to make your charity's fundraising manager redundant when the government first lowered its furlough contributions, didn't you? Can you just tell us a little bit about that experience, please?
Yeah, so I think we can all agree that the government have done some things right and some things wrong through this pandemic. I will say I think furlough was something that they did well. I mean, on the insurance side of the business, when the first lockdown was announced, like all businesses, it was a bit of a panic. And I think having furlough, which we didn't actually use on the insurance side as an option, did give us peace of mind. But fortunately, we insure any type of business in the UK, and all of those businesses still required insurance. So the insurance side of the business went well, and we didn't have to use furlough. It did give us great peace of mind to have in our locker. But obviously on the foundation side, you're quite right, that ground to a halt the whole fundraising and events business. So we had a decision to make with our fundraising manager. So we did furlough her, and we topped her up. So the government contributed the 80 and we topped her up to the 100. But it probably did save us making her redundant a lot earlier on. And then when they changed to 60% later on in the year, we had a discussion with her then. She had another opportunity to go to, and we parted company at that stage. But it certainly kept the wolf from the door for a good 6 months on the foundation side of the business, yeah.
Annabel, I'm just thinking about this at the broader sort of economic level and how it will be impacting businesses really from tomorrow. What do you think the impact will be? Because the proportion the government's been paying has, of course, been reducing over time, so they haven't been paying much of workers' wages. But what can we expect the impact to be now?
Sure. Well, obviously, I don't have a crystal ball, but I don't think that things are quite as bad as we might have expected them to have been at this point. As you say, the furlough scheme has been tapered in the last couple of months. The fact that it was repeatedly extended did give firms quite a bit of time to adjust their business models and for individuals to adjust their career plans. There was a real danger that we were going to extend furlough for such a long time that we were trapping people in artificial employment and that they weren't going to have jobs to come back to. Now, unfortunately, that will be the case for some workers, but I think that a lot of people are now who are furloughed are actually on part-time furlough, flexi furloughs. So I think that it will be a slightly more seamless transition than perhaps some had forecast when the scheme was first introduced. That's not to say there won't be a bit of a cliff edge, and unfortunately some people will lose their jobs because they will have been trapped in work that simply wouldn't be there when the pandemic ended. Perhaps they were working for zombie businesses. So there will be some pain inevitably, but as I say, I think we've had time to adjust businesses. Have had time to adjust, and there really is no justification for extending furlough any longer because, of course, this has been well documented. The problem we really have now is with job vacancies. We actually need to free up those workers, free up those resources, and redeploy them to where they can be most productive.
Yeah, is now the right time to bite that bullet then, do you think? Do you think this is the time? We don't need to be extending it, then I take it, as far as you're concerned?
No, I think that now is absolutely the right time. I actually think that the case for extending furlough beyond the 19th of July, which is when the coronavirus restrictions came to an end, was pretty thin. I think if the economy is reopening, then there's little justification for trapping people in that artificial unemployment. And of course, spending huge sums of money. You said at the start just how much this scheme has cost. At one point, 9 million workers were being supported by the government. You know, that's not something that I, as a free marketeer, am particularly comfortable with. But nonetheless, I don't think you can deny the scheme has been successful. However, I do think there was little justification for it running on past the 19th of July when the economy did start to reopen. And it may have played a role in the fact that we have worker shortages at the moment, companies that simply aren't able to recover, that aren't able to grow because people are being trapped in furlough when they could be applying for some of those roles.
And Simon, you own an insurance broker, so of course you work with many partners. Are you worried about how this might affect sort of the partners that you work with and therefore have an impact on your business? Or like Annabel, do you think it won't be as bad as people might expect?
I agree very much with Annabelle, actually. I think it did go on, whilst it was a great scheme, like I said earlier, I think it did go on too long. It should have probably ended in July, both from a cost point of view and also a job market point of view, like she rightly points out. We've got quite a number of vacancies at the moment, as have many people that we speak to, and filling the vacancies is the problem because there are a lot of people sat on furlough. So I think it did have to end probably sooner than now, actually. But that being said, of course, there will still be some people that lose their job today or imminently and are scratching around. As part of our foundation, we actually give grants out to people looking to start up businesses, and we've got a round of grants that we're giving out now. And we are seeing a few applicants coming in on people that have been made redundant and looking to start up on their own. So there will be opportunities, but there will be hardship. But like Annabelle said, it did need to happen, probably sooner, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be a concerning time for a lot of people. But like you've just both alluded to there are jobs out there now, and this might be a bit of chlorine in that employment pool, as it were, now, and we can start getting back at it. Both of you, thank you so much. Great to have your insights. Annabelle Denham, of course, Director of Communication at the Institute for Economic Affairs, becoming a regular onto the point now as well, and Simon Lancaster, founder, owner and CEO of SJL Insurance Services.